Okay, we're not starting officially yet. We're just waiting for more people to join before we start. This is 11:04. Maybe at about 11:06, we would get start the conversation proper. Well, thank you so much for joining. And in case there is anyone you know who should be here that is not here yet, please share the link with them and encourage them to join. We will start very shortly. Thank you.
either as an employee or an entrepreneur.
All right, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to this crucial event commemorating the International Volunteers Day, organized by the Nigerian Youth SDG in partnership with the European Union Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria and our Labs Nigeria. My name is Rafiat Atunda, and I'm very excited to be your host for today. The theme for this year's International Volunteers Day, If Everyone Did, underscores the importance of our collective action towards the acceleration and achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Indeed, if everyone did, the world will become a better place. Before I go on to invite our keynote speaker for today, I'd like to inform us that this is a public platform, so it helps to maintain the highest level of decorum. So say things you will be proud of because anything you say here can be archived and you wouldn't want anybody quoting you after now. So let's please engage each other with civility, the highest level of decorum. Also to say that if you're not speaking, please mute your microphone. Again, if you're not speaking, please mute your microphone. If you have questions, comments, reactions, please feel free to use the chat feature. Again, if you have questions, comments, reactions, please feel free to use the chat feature. Later on, we would have a games session where you'll be able to win fantastic prizes. But before you can win any of our prizes, you have to ensure that you're following all the organizations that have put this together. I talk of the Nigerian Youth SDG, the EU Youth Standing Board in Nigeria, and of course, our lab Nigeria on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So with again, if you're not speaking, please mute your microphone. Would really appreciate that. If you're not speaking, please mute your microphone. Thank you so much. So without further ado, I'd like to invite the Executive Director of Nigerian Youth SDG for his keynote address. I talk of no other person than Joshua Alade. Before Joshua takes on, to speak, I'd just very quickly like to say that Joshua is an education and decent work policy advocate, passionate about positive youth and sustainable community development. Like I said earlier, he is the executive director of NG SDGs. That means Nigerian Youth SDGs. It is a network of youth for sustainable initiatives, a youth led civil society organization advocating for meaningful youth engagement in policies and programs that would enable them to lead and thrive. Joshua has a master's in sustainable development and was awarded the 2022 Young Pacesetter for Africa Development on Africa Day at the United Nations headquarters. Joshua, good morning and over to you.
Hi, Afiat. Morning. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Morning. Excited to be here. Happy International Volunteers Day. I'm so excited to be giving the keynote address today. And I especially want to first welcome everyone, all of our special guests. Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of this event, our volunteers and partners. Today we gather to celebrate the International Volunteers Day, which is something that we do as Nigerian Youth SDGs Network. And we come under this amazing theme of the power of collective action, if everyone will. And this theme really resonates deeply with our mission at NG Youth SDGs, which is to strengthen the agency of young Nigerians and empower them to advocate for policies and programs that would enable them to lead and thrive. If everyone will captures the idea that each one of us, in our own unique ways, if we choose to volunteer and contribute to the SDGs, we can collectively bring about profound change across communities in Nigeria. I am here before you with immense pride and gratitude, first to the advisory board of NG Youth SDGs, to our staff, our funders, our donors, and our partners. These are people who have demonstrated unwavering commitment to this cause. Their dedication, their passion, their tireless efforts have been the driving force behind our journey towards empowering young people and advocating for policies that would enable youth in Nigeria to be able to live, to lead and thrive. At NG Youth SDGs, our vision is actually grounded in the belief that young people are not just the future, but the present leaders of our nation. We understand that in order to create a more prosperous and sustainable Nigeria, we must equip our young people with the knowledge, the skills, and opportunities to drive change today. As part of this event, I would want to share with you some of the impactful initiatives that our commitment to this mission has made happen. First is that every year we host the International Youth Day celebration. We started this in 2017. And the International Youth Day has actually been a beacon of hope and inspiration for young Nigerians. It serves as a platform to recognize and celebrate the extraordinary talent and innovation of our youth. Through the International Youth Day and with the support of our partners, especially Oxfam in Nigeria, we send a resounding message that meaningful youth leadership is important for sustainable development. Over the years, we have provided grants for social businesses and agricultural startups, as well as launching the Youth Day Spotlight Awards in 2022. With the Spotlight Awards, we identified 10 young people across Nigeria who are leading sustainable change in their community, and we give them this recognition because we believe that as young people, sometimes the work that we do, most people do not see it, and it's important that letting them know that we see them and we recognize them is really vital. Another thing we do so well is the World Youth Skills Day. Since 2020, we have commemorated the World Youth Skills Day with the International Labour Organization. And our goal is around equipping young Nigerians with skills in entrepreneurship and employability so that they can gainfully participate in the labor market. Over the last 2 years, we have focused on increasing access to green and technology skills to harness the potential of our thriving young people. And we also continually advocate for the implementation of the Nigerian Youth Employment Action Plan, which was launched in 2021 to create 3.7 million jobs for young Nigerians. This year, one of the things we did for SDGs Week was also to launch the Youth Day Spotlight Compendium, where we profiled about 50 young, amazing change makers under the age of 29 who are driving action for sustainable development in Nigeria. Our goal with the Youth Day, with the Spotlight Compendium is that every year we'll be showcasing 50 amazing people, different people who are actually leading change when it comes to sustainable development. Also this year, we launched the Nigerian People's Assembly, where we brought about young people, policymakers, people in the civil society, the private sector, and government in both Lagos and Abuja, with support from our partners like Youth Hub Africa and Connected Development, to address the issue of meaningful youth leadership and creating policies that will help reduce poverty and inequality in Nigeria. Through this initiative, we amplify the voices of young Nigerians, ensuring that their concerns and aspirations are heard by decision makers. We as an organization recognize that advocacy is the cornerstone to progress, and we are committed to driving positive policy changes that will benefit our youth. Finally, is to talk about the Youth Activators Lab, which is our revamped Champions program. It's a one-year program for young people between the ages of 18 and 29 who are desirous to lead systemic change in Nigeria. Over the next few days, we'll be unveiling the 36 associates who will be working with us across Nigeria to advocate for systemic change in education, employment, and civic participation. One thing I want to say is that the successes of our initiative is a testament to the remarkable contributions of our advisory board, of our staff, funders, our partners, and also our volunteers. They are the lifeblood of NG Youth SDGs, and their unwavering dedication is what fuels our progress. Starting up in 2017 as an unregistered youth group to getting registered in 2021, our advisory board, our staff, our volunteers, our champions have supported us in organizing events, conducting research, facilitating workshops, and engaging communities around Nigeria. And they've served as a beacon of inspiration for many young people today. Today, I really want to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for your tireless efforts and for being the driving force behind our mission. As we celebrate the International Youth Day and reflect on the theme, the power of collective action, if everyone will, I want us to recognize that every individual, regardless of our age, our background, or profession, we actually have a role to play in shaping a sustainable future in Nigeria. Our contributions, whether it's big, whether it's small, can make a significant impact. And by volunteering your time, your expertise, and your passion, you are actually contributing to the collective effort to build a brighter, more equitable, and sustainable Nigeria and a better world for everyone. As an organization, we remain steadfast in our commitment to strengthening the agency of young people and empowering them to advocate for policies and programs that would actually enable them to lead and thrive. If everyone will become part of this movement, we can actually achieve remarkable progress with the SDGs across communities in Nigeria. I really want to say big thank you to the EU Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria and also our labs for your support towards this event. I want to thank everyone who has partnered with us in the past and those who are going to be partnering with us in the future. Together, as a united force, we can and will make a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joshua. I think he deserves a round of applause. I know you cannot physically clap right now, but please use the chat box to drop, a fantastic emoji for Joshua. I'm waiting to see. I'm checking. I'm checking. Please do that. Do that. Thank you so much, Joshua, once again. Indeed, if everyone did, we would collectively recreate a Nigeria that is safer, more peaceful, and more prosperous. Thank you so much. And, the EU Youth Sounding Board, because I happen to be a member as well, we are very delighted to be a part of this important gathering of young people across Nigeria. And I want to say that the Nigerian Youth SDG is doing fantastic work. So kudos to the team and very well done. I know you have told us, like an overview of what Nigerian Youth SDG has done, so far, particularly this year and last year. But I believe there is still more to the Nigerian Youth SDG. So it is on this note that I would like to invite Boluwatife Ajayi to tell us more about the Nigerian Youth SDG and its work on volunteerism, particularly in Nigeria. Boluwatife, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. So
Loud
it's
and clear.
wonderful. Oh, great. It's so great to have everybody here. I don't want to take too much of your time. And honestly, Mr. Joshua has said it all. At this point, I'm thinking, what else should I add? So I'll just like to, thank everybody for coming in. Volunteerism is one thing that, it plays a key role, a pivotal role in driving sustainable change in the society. Everybody needs to do something. Everybody needs to play a part. So just like the thing, collective action, imagine if each person comes together to do something. And this is one of the things that we do at NG Youth SDGs, starting with our champions, our coordinators program, soon the Youth Activators Lab, bringing people to be able to understand their role in driving sustainable change, in driving impact in their communities. It's not enough to just think that, oh, somebody's just going to stand up. Because, one thing is there are people that don't even know where to start from when it comes to volunteering. It's like, where should I go to? How should I start? I know if we give people, we equip them with the skills, the experience that they need to carry out change, it's going to be very fantastic. And one of our core areas at NG Youth SDGs is civic participation, livelihoods and employment, education and capacity development. So these are the things that we are very, very heavy on. And if you look at all the international award, the compare launch of decent work, ensuring that young people have access to the skills that they need, to the resources that they need. And let me just run through. See, today is going to be a fantastic day. Yeah, we're having a storytelling session, we're having a panel session, we're even having a game session. All of these things, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to learning, and I'm sure it's not just me, talking about volunteerism, how it can impact your career, your personal development, how you can start, how you can manage, a lot of things that is going to happen during this event. And once again, I'm so glad to have everyone here today. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you so much, Boluwatife. I'm equally excited about the lineup of activities that we have today, because beyond learning why volunteering matters, you would also be inspired to take an action towards driving the sustainable development goals, not just in Nigeria, but across the world. So again, if you're here, congratulations to you, because you're about to experience something really transformational. And so at this point, we'll be taking, myself actually, because like I said earlier, I'm a member of the European Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria. and I also happen to be the spokesperson of the board. So I'm going to be speaking to you very briefly about the EU Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria and some of our activities so far. So the EU Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria is a youth organization, so to speak, put together by the EU, not just the EU in Nigeria, but the EU across the globe. We have the Youth Sounding Board in different countries of the world, and of course, we have the one in Nigeria as well. The one in Nigeria is made up of 23 young people across Nigeria. I like to say this everywhere that I like the formation of the board. And I say this because the board is made up of professionals, social worker, people with disability, students. It is a robust board that is ensuring that, we capture the voices of young people, regardless of where they are across Nigeria. So the board was inaugurated in Nigeria in 2021, and our mandate was supposed to be for 2 years, but it's been extended. We've been getting a number of, comments, questions, and all of that. As regards to, I'd like to be a part of the EU Youth Sounding Board. When is the next call for application coming out? So I'm happy to tell you that the next call for application will be out sometime next year. It should be early next year. So please, if you're not following us yet, you should endeavor to do that. I'm going to be putting the direct links to different platforms in the chat box. Make sure you're following us and, of course, turn on notifications so that you see all of the things. But beyond being a part of the board, what do we do as a board? We do four major things. We advise the EU in Nigeria, we monitor, we influence, and we also inform. And we do all of these things to ensure that the EU is mainstreaming youth in their programs and policies. So we've done a number of advisory notes. For instance, they shared things with us and said, "Oh, this is the program we're planning for this year. Do you think we have done so well, bringing to bear the voices of young people?" We look at this document and we provide advisory notes. Beyond that, we are also sounding the different activities of the EU in Nigeria because we know that the EU does a number of amazing things in Nigeria. But those that particularly relate to young people are not, super loud enough. So as a board, we are sounding these things. And one of the things we're very proud of, one of the achievements we can, of course, attribute to the Youth Sounding Board is how we have ensured to make sure that the Erasmus Scholarship, gains more visibility in Nigeria. So for the 2022/2023 Erasmus awardees, I was at the pre-departure event that was organized for them. And, I interacted with about 10 of these awardees. And one thing caught the current, right? They told me that they got to know about the Erasmus Scholarship through the activities of the EU Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria. So if you go to our pages, for instance, you will see us beyond just talking about the scholarship. We also try to push out, webinars and a lot of other opportunities that can help you ace your application processes. So I'm happy to tell you that the 2023/2024 Erasmus Scholarship application window is currently open. So if you desire to study for free, it's a fully funded scholarship. If you desire to study in any universities in Europe, this is the opportunity you have been waiting for. And the interesting thing about the Erasmus Scholarship is you don't need to write a lot of essays. Just one essay would give you an admission into the school as well as into the scholarship. And beyond that, you're also able to, study in at least 3 universities in Europe. So literally, they are funding you to focus on academics, but they are also very keen on cultural exchanges. Want you to network and meet with other people across the world. So literally, you're also going on a tour. So this is not the session to talk about Erasmus. The EU Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria will be putting together Twitter spaces very soon to bring on board scholars to tell you the benefits of the scholarship and how you can apply so you get the scholarship. But that is just one of the things we are proud of as the Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria. And another thing that we are also very delighted about is that, in case you did not know, the Commissioner for the EU International Partnerships Commissioner Juta was in Nigeria very recently, and she had an exclusive meeting with the Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria. You know how busy these people can be, but because of the importance attached to young people in Nigeria, particularly the Youth Sounding Board, she had a meeting with us. We discussed a number of issues. Particularly issues surrounding visa application, because we know, based on interactions with different Nigerians across the country, we know that they experience stringent, visa application processes when they are going to any countries, in Europe. So we told the commissioner about it, and she committed to, working with member states to ensure that the processes are a bit more seamless for young Nigerians. Well, this is just one out of the many things we talked to her about. And another thing that the board has done is the YSP Niger Talk Villa. This was a virtual consultative platform where we brought together different young people and different youth-led organizations across Nigeria. So, basically we x-rayed the different programs EU is doing in Nigeria, the challenges that the Nigerian youth are facing, their recommendations to the EU, and what have you. So the recommendations have been put together and we have shared with the EU in Nigeria. So we're very optimistic that the programs of the and policies of the EU in Nigeria, especially as regards to young people, will be much more youth friendly. So I can go on, but again, this is not a session for the Youth Sounding Board, but I just want to encourage you that volunteering pays, volunteering works. Personally, I currently work with the UN, and this is an opportunity I got because I volunteered, and I'm still volunteering for the Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria. And somehow, I found myself in the United Nations. So if you're thinking why you should volunteer, this is your cue volunteer. So I'm going to stop here, and I just want to say thank you again to the Nigerian Youth NCG for putting this together, and of course to Allah for the fantastic prize that they're going to be giving to us later on. So on that note, I'll be back to the moderator or the host mode. At this point, we'll be moving on to the section 2, which is about storytelling. And the person to do this for us, we have 2 young people who are doing incredible stuff in their different areas. And interestingly, they are active volunteers. So they're going to be telling you their story, their journey towards volunteering, and how volunteering has made a difference for them. I'm going to be starting with Mubarak. So Mubarak is a member of the EU Youth Sounding Board in Nigeria. If you follow Mubarak, you would know that this young man is an amazing young man. He's been doing incredible stuff. And I can tell you that he recently came back from the United States of America. Again, this is an opportunity that he got via volunteering. So volunteering pays, but I would leave Mubarak to tell us more. Mubarak, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Rafiat, for this early morning washing. That was quite good of you. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Mubarak Idris, and I'd like to tell you a story because I'm a storyteller. So I finished from the School for the Gifted in Gwagwalada. And during that time, there's something they used to call serving labor, right? And there's always this rift between SS2 and SS3 students, especially when SS3 students want to leave. And then it's like the SS2 want to take over, what the SS3 were doing. And at that point, I was caught in between lock hairs as I was labeled as the devil between, everyone. And then I was meant to serve labor for 1 week. So in my mind, it wasn't just me, it was about a bunch of SS2 students. And one of my friends just said, you know what, we're not serving labor, we're volunteering for the school, we're paying it forward. And that was what we did. And then we served labor for 1 week. But when I really got intentional about the way that I volunteer was actually in 2016, 2017, when, I saw this program that Youth of Africa wanted to do. They actually did it in Jabi Park at that time. I met Olusegun Medupin. And then all we needed to do was just hold a placard and talk about ending female genital mutilation. And then I got interested because I saw a lot of people who were not being paid for anything, but they were quite interested in it. And so I volunteered for another program called Pick That Trash. if you're familiar with Abuja, specifically Gwarimpa, there's this place called Third Avenue. And before you get to H-Medics, there's actually a government school there. And some people used to actually throw trash on that road before. So what Pick That Trash did was that we actually got tires, used tires. And what we did was that we planted some plants along that place and then we cleaned the place. I was able to meet a lot of people there. And that's one really great thing about volunteering. It's really not possible for you to actually say that you want to volunteer and not meet somebody new. And then there was a lady there called Avo Swahi. She met me, and surprisingly, she was working for Radio Nigeria at that time, 92.1 FM. And then she was like, okay, come and talk about, your interest in volunteering. And that was how I got my first chance at actually speaking, for a radio station in Nigeria. Through volunteering, I didn't have to pay anything for the time there. And that's how it basically progressed. In 2018, I volunteered for TEDx in Murtala Square and in Ahmadu Bello University's area, just to get a lot of knowledge about what it takes to actually volunteer. Now, I know that I'm here to tell you about what took me to the United States. So the thing about volunteering is that sometimes you're actually asked to volunteer without filling a form. But then when you want to get very constructive about your growth, you actually need to write essays about why you want to be selected for that volunteering opportunity. Even though they're not going to pay you anything, you'll be wondering why these people are stressing your brain, and then you have to write something. So this is my cue to tell you that the most important thing that you can use to gain opportunities that are actually really great is in your writing. Your writing is very important. I remember back in secondary school when, we used to have these particular quotas. Take, for example, your organization, expression, content, and mechanical accuracy. I was not good at mechanical accuracy at all because of commas and full stop. But those things are actually very important for you to tell your story about why you want to be selected, because you actually do not know where that opportunity is going to take you to. So there was this program called the Community Engagement Exchange Program that's meant to take, young people that are passionate about the work they do, either in women and gender issues. And then you're meant to write about 6 to 7 essays of why you should be selected. And by the grace of God, I was actually selected. But the one thing that was important to note is that about 5 committees actually went through that application. And no matter how good you are in practical, it's not easy for them to see if you've not left a trail about the volunteering that you've done. And one great thing that's able to do that for us is actually social media, because you're able to post it, you're able to just talk about the people you've met, and you do not know who is looking at you. When I went to the US, I was able to also network with other people there because we had change makers from about 70 plus countries. And then I was selected to actually give a speech at the end of the day where I talked about the work that I had been doing to end child marriage and also to end female and genital mutilation. There was a lady, Amanda, all the way from Costa Rica. She heard about the work that I was doing. And then she said she wanted to introduce me to another organization called the Every Woman Coalition. The Every Woman Coalition was an organization that was working towards adding an optional protocol to the Convention on the Elimination and Discrimination of All Women. And then I had to go through a program, had to learn all volunteerism. And just 2 days back, I was able to be on a panel to speak on behalf of men on ending violence against women, where we had 2 former special rapporteurs and then the current UN special rapporteur on ending violence against women and girls. So this is why it is important for us to, first of all, learn how to write and be very constructive about it, get a lot of criticism about how you could actually do better. And that is not an opportunity for you to lie about the qualifications you do not have. But when you're able to leave a trail of how you've been doing a particular work, and then people can resonate with the goal that you're trying to get to, it is more easier to support you, it is more easier to recommend you, and it's more easier to key into the different, opportunities that exist. But one thing that is very important is that we learn how to write and know how to network. Network doesn't necessarily mean that you need to talk to everybody, but networking means that you need to be very intentional about where you want to go to. I used to say that networking is a bus that is going to Gwarimpa, whether you like it or not, it will go there. But you're definitely going to meet people that are on that journey with you. But the truth is that you cannot talk to everyone that's on the bus stop, but you can definitely try to get 1 or 2 things that will help you make your journey easier. Thank you so much. I know I have 5 minutes and I do not want to, go above that. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mubarak. A really important story you have shared there. Like I said earlier, volunteering works, and as individuals, we need to think about very constructively how we want to contribute our quota to not just national development, but sustainable development across the world. So I really like how you put it. Indeed, you're a storyteller, and I know you're not able to stay with us till the very end, but hopefully, if people have questions, they're able to perhaps reach you on social media, or if you're still able to stay here for some time, they're able to ask you questions, and you can provide responses to them. Thank you so much once again.
Right,
All right.
thank you.
All right. So
I'll
at this
just drop
point,
my LinkedIn in case anyone has any question. I'll definitely answer. Yeah.
okay. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you. All right. So at this point, I'd like to call on another volunteer to share with us our volunteering journey. I also know that she's been doing incredible stuff. Because I follow the the Nigeria Youth SDG on social media, and I see that they post this lady like almost every time. So, and as a lady myself who likes to see people who look like me, especially, breaking barriers, taking on leadership roles, I am super proud of this young lady. She is one of the champions at the Nigerian Youth SDGs, and she is Rihanna Abodede. Rihanna, if you can hear me, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Rafiat. Happy International Volunteers Day to everyone. I love how Mubarak explained how you can join volunteering by being a good writer, by networking and so on. But then I am going to, through my storytelling, I'm going to explain how you can really benefit through the volunteering experience and how you can put it into great use. So I joined Nigeria Youth SDGs around 2020. I think it was during the COVID period. So I remember being excited, getting accepted as one of the organization's youth champions, because a lot of people applied, and you being selected to be part of, volunteers or champions or something like that is really a great thing. It means that you tried your best and then it worked out. So during the course of my volunteering, I was able to achieve a lot for myself, and I'm very proud of that. So I'm also going to be explaining how this really had a great impact in my personal and professional lives. So the first is the community impact. So volunteering with Nigeria Youth SDGs really made me have a positive impact in my community. So for example, there was a time we organized youth lab event, because at Nigeria Youth SDGs, we have a lot of champions from different states in Nigeria, and I happen to be a champion for Ogun State. So we organized this youth lab event across other states in Nigeria. And as a champion for my own state, that was the first time organizing such an event. And it was really a very great privilege. So I can remember that time we were writing letters, we were reaching out to all the stakeholders, Ministry of Youth and Sport and Development in Ogun State and so on. So I can remember that I was able to organize that youth event. The youth event was planned towards the implementation of the Nigeria Youth Employment Action Plan. So I was very happy that I could have a number of youths come together with other stakeholders to have a meaningful conversation, a meaningful dialogue, and we were able to, come up with some other things. So that was one of the things I was proud of, being able, that was my first time organizing an event where I had youth come together, stakeholders come together to have a dialogue. And also the second event I organized was the SDGs Playbook launch. Now, one thing about volunteering and this kind of organizing events and all is that you are going to go through a lot of challenges. And at Nigeria Youth SDGs, they're going to train you on how you can overcome these challenges. So I remember the SDGs Playbook launch. I invited some stakeholders, I invited some youth, and there were a lot of challenges, a lot of delays. At one point, the students I was conveying from FUNAB, University in Ogun State. Their bus broke down. I had to keep calling. I had to, there were a lot of back and forth and all. But at the end of the day, the event was successful. So one of the things I learned in that scenario was patience. And another thing was having a quick resolution skills. So another thing I was able to gain at Nigeria Youth SDGs was skills development, because when I was still in school and I see how people apply for jobs, they will be telling you have to have 5 years work experience, especially in this Nigeria. They'll even be telling you the precise age. You have to be like 24, 25. And when you are looking at that and you saw that, oh, you are getting past that age and you don't even have the skills yet. You are still studying. So it's funny how you need to have these experiences. But that was when I knew that volunteering was one of the ways to gain a lot of experience without you suffering for it. So volunteering at Nigeria SDGs has really provided me the opportunity, to develop my technical and soft skills. I was able to develop the skills of making presentation slides, public speaking, teamwork, you having to work with people from diverse regions, like people from the Hausa state, Igbo, and so on. It's really a very good thing because it brings about you having a very good understanding of diversity and also problem solving skills. Like I said, when you're organizing an event, how do you quickly solve a problem? How do you find a solution to this and that? So these skills are really, really helping. And to be sincere, these skills are also helping me in my new job because I just got a very fantastic job recently, and these skills are really helping me because I have these experiences, so I'm bringing them into play, and I feel like a professional already. So when you are this kind of person that you want to build your skills, you are looking for a place to build your skills so that you can get a very good job or be able to present reasonable experiences and all, I would say that you should take voluntary as an option. So also networking and social connections is also one of the things that I got from Nigeria Youth SDGs because I would say that I had my first international travel with Nigeria Youth SDGs. Yeah, it might be a bit funny, but that Nigeria Youth SDGs gave me that experience, and I'm really grateful for that. I can remember when I traveled to Rwanda for the Generation Connect Global Youth Summit, where I went with a colleague, and then we shared our work. I was able to present my work and all. That was really an eye-opening, and I was able to connect with a whole lot of people. And the people I've been able to connect with, I still talk to them to today, and I still get opportunities from them. So that is one of the good things of volunteering, and especially with Nigeria Youth SDGs, you're going to get that exposure that you really need. I was able to also represent the NGO at different local and global online conferences and summits, to talk about Nigeria Youth SDGs network, what we are doing. For example, I can remember the one I attended, the ITC ILO Summer Global Youth Forum, where we talk about Nigeria Youth SDGs network, how we are tackling the youth unemployment challenge. And also, I would say that part of the things I was able to gain from Nigeria voluntary with Nigeria SDGs is personal fulfillment. Contributing my time, contributing my skills to a cause that I believe in. Before, I don't really know about SDGs. I don't really know about these goals. But joining an organization that exposes you to what each goals really mean and how you can contribute to this cause. And you volunteering you don't really have to spend a lot when you want to volunteer or when you want to contribute to something. Just by advocating online, maybe writing a text, advocating, creating awareness in just your neighborhood is also part of volunteering. So those are the emotional rewards you even get from helping others would also have an impact into how you think and how you and your actions towards people. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the resume enhancement. I would have to say the truth. Like, applying to different opportunities, applying to my recent job and all, it has all been adding Nigeria SDGs experience to my CV. It really made me stand out. I can remember then when the employer was like, "Oh, Rihanna, I saw your CV. I saw you have a lot of work experiences, and you just graduated. Like, how did you get all these work experiences?" I was able to explain to her about how I volunteered, how I made impact. And the interesting part was this particular organization also has like an impact making agenda or value to their organization. So when I was talking about making impact, volunteering, helping people, the employer was very impressed. She was like, "Wow, that's very nice." And I said, "Okay, that is one of the values I love more about your company. And me coming into your company, I already have this experience, and I'm going to bring it so that we can make more sustainable practices to grow the company." So having this kind of opportunity, having this kind of experiences, apart from you knowing how to get into these NGOs, into these voluntary activities and all, you also need to know how to implement and how to make use of these opportunities in your personal and professional lives. So I'm going to end here. Thank you so much, Rafiat. Over to you. Please, if you have any question, I'm available.
Thank you so much, Rihanna. When you ended with "I'm available," I was tempted to sing "Not Available." Thank you so much. We really appreciate you sharing your volunteering experience, and it's very delightful to hear all the amazing things you have done, with volunteering and how the Nigerian Youth SDG has contributed immensely to this. You said a number of things. I would not want to do a synopsis because I think you were very clear. But one thing I just like to re-echo is the fact that volunteering will help you with skills. You would gain skills with volunteering that may not be taught in school. So if you don't want to be part of those, who would find it very difficult, getting jobs or what have you, because, recruiters are saying you do not have so and so number of experience, or what skills do you bring to the table, think about volunteering. So again, thank you so much, Rihanna. And I put a question in the chat feature, and I see two persons say they would love to share their experience as well. We do not have time, but because I did that, I'd like to just very quickly call on Sharon. Sharon, please, in less than 2 minutes, just tell us what volunteering has done for you in less than 2 minutes. Please, if you exit 2 minutes, I'm going to come in. Thank you so much. So Sharon, if you can mute yourself, please share your experience in less than 2 minutes. Okay, and I can see I have a question. Would I have a panel session, and after, sorry, Sharon, would I have a panel session, and after the panel session, you'll be able to ask your questions. So please just hold on to your questions, and you will be able to ask them later. So Sharon, over to you. Again, in less than 2 minutes, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. My name is Sharon Chahemen. My volunteering journey actually started in 2018, like I said. It was October 1st. I was listening to the platform show where I was listening to amazing people doing amazing stuff. And the first question that came to my mind was, these people are so far ahead. I'm still a student. I was in 300 level at that time. How do I get started? What do I do? And then I began to follow all of them on social media. I began to ask questions. And many of them were like, "Oh, there's no opening for a job now, but you can volunteer." Then I began to look into volunteering. And the first opportunity I got was a project for waste management on my campus in 2018. That was University of Ilorin. And to be honest, I feel like volunteering is very, very addicting because immediately I had that first experience when I saw the outcome, I saw the way people were excited. it just went on and on. I've had so many volunteering experiences with Pick That Trash, Plug in Nigeria. I've gone on to partner with a lot of organizations. I'm currently working as a team lead for an NGO, and it's so interesting that in the course of this has been, I think, 6 years from 2018. I've gone from being a volunteer to now managing a team of volunteers. And most of the people that I met, like Mr. Mubarak said, every single time you volunteer, you will meet somebody new. The experiences that I've gotten cannot be quantified in terms of money. I've met people, I've been able to go places, I've been able to get skills that if I had to pay for to learn, I picked them up in the field of volunteering. But if I had to go pay someone to learn that, I know how much I would have paid. So volunteering has really changed my life, and it's what a lot of people know me for. Oh, Sharon the volunteer, Sharon the volunteer. It has made me meet a lot of amazing people and taking me to a lot of places. And I encourage everyone at whatever level that you're in, undergraduate, graduate, whether you have a 9 to 5, you're a business owner, try to volunteer. If you cannot get to the big organizations, like you want to volunteer for UNICEF, it just starts with the small organizations around you. There's always a local project that you can contribute to and move towards global impact. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Of course, you should start local but think global. I really like that, Sharon. And thank you again for sharing your experience and for all the amazing work you're doing. And let me just say to you that you're just getting started. Volunteering is still going to take you to more fantastic places. I'd like to quickly call on Taufik Idowu to also share his volunteering experience. And to you too in less than 2 minutes, please. So Taufik, if you can hear me, please unmute your microphone and speak.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
All right. So I'll just start with the fact that volunteering is just I'll just start with the fact that volunteering is a way of building oneself and sort of improving in one's self-development and growth. I'll start with the fact that volunteering has really helped me in building my resume and CV. Most of the things that I've actually been able to put together in my resume and the CV are through volunteering, and vis-a-vis making impact, social impact, and networking with people and meeting like-minded peoples that you can get to share ideas about making impact locally while also contributing to the global space. Taking for instance, we are talking about the climate change now. Volunteering can actually help one to contribute to mitigating the effect of global change while also getting ideas and generating ideas towards making that effort. It also helps in actually making efforts towards building oneself, because as a volunteer you are not just contributing to society, you are also giving back to yourself, because you are also building your capacity, you are building your self growth and development. So volunteering is just a way of building oneself while also contributing to the society through social impact. And for people that probably are lovers of taking back to the society, contributing back to the society, volunteering is just a platform that I've leveraged on over the years, and I'm thankful that even most people don't actually believe that I'm still an undergraduate, because of the fact that volunteering experience has actually took me to where many people might not have seen themselves. So volunteering experiences with me is just so superb, and meeting and connecting with people while also sharing ideas and with like-minded people is just an experience that it's awesome. So, and it actually gives people leverage, and whenever you are applying for something, you just have the rest of mind that, well, I think with the little I've been able to do to have implemented, I think I'm fitting for this. Taking for
Absolutely.
instance, why applying
Sorry to cut in, Taufik. Thank you so much. I think you've made a very valid point, and I really like that you're an undergraduate doing amazing things with volunteering. So please keep it up, and as much as you can, continue to encourage a lot of people to follow that path because really volunteering works and volunteering matters. So thank you so much again for sharing, and just stay on here and enjoy the rest of the program. All right, so thank you to the two persons, Sharon and Taufik, who shared their volunteering experience with us. So if you're here and you're still wondering why you should volunteer, we have more, things packed for you because I'm sure that by the end of today's session, you not only understand why it is important for you to volunteer, but you're inspired, you're actuated to take action towards ensuring that the world is better for everyone. So at this point, I'd like to, call on a spoken word artist for a very short performance. His name is Zachary Emmanuel, and he's going to be doing a very beautiful performance for us. So, Zachary, if you can hear me, welcome and over to you.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So sorry, I can't turn on my video now. It's quite an unorganized place. I sincerely apologize for that, but yeah. So it's a short piece. Um, okay. Um, in the grand theater of life, picture a stage where every soul is a performer. Our script, the Sustainable Development Goal, guides our step like constellations mapping the night sky. Imagine a world where the applause isn't for individual achievement, but for collective strides. Volunteers, the silent conductors of this symphony, stand not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of orchestrating change with humility as their baton. As we dance through the corridors of time, may every step echo the rhythm of empathy. Our stage is set, not with props and backdrops, but with the actions that speak louder than even spoken words. What if what if our legacy became a tapestry woven with threads of compassion and justice? A mural painted with the colors of unity where diversity isn't a challenge but a celebration, and each shade adds richness to that masterpiece. What if? Just what if we harness our collective action, a force that transcends borders, ideologies, and limitations, breaking barriers like waves, eroding rocks, constructing bridges over turbulent waters? We, yes, we, the architects of change, build pathways to a future of shared prosperity. So let every sunrise be a reminder that the stage is ours, the roles are ours to define. This isn't just mere spoken word of existence, but may the echoes of our collective actions reverberate through time, shaping a narrative where if everyone did isn't just a question, but a testament to the power we wield together. What if? A time of change, of impact, of world transformed by collective power of every soul, daring to dream, for the world is our canvas. Yes, the world is our canvas, and every act of kindness is stroke that paints a picture of hope. Let our symphony resonate, fill in the air with the melody of unity and the lyrics of a better tomorrow. What if? What if? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zachary, for that powerful piece. What if? I think what if is a very important question because even as storytellers, as volunteers, as whatever it is, even if you're a project manager, asking the question what if would help you think very deeply about what you're doing. So what if everyone volunteered? Thank you so much once again, Zachary. That was a very beautifully powerful piece. Thank you. And I really like a line there. May every step echo the rhythm of empathy. Because really, with empathy, we can make this world a better place. So thank you once again. And, we hope we're able to hear more of you. Maybe you also want to drop your social media handles in the chat box in case people would love to connect with you and, just sort of understand how you work and how they can collaborate with you for future events. So once again, thank you so much. We are grateful. All right, so at this point, I would move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a panel session. You don't want to miss this panel session because the panelists are powerful people. When I saw the list, I was wowed myself because I know that these are highly accomplished persons who have done incredible things for themselves. So you want to stay on till the very end of the panel session. Stay on. Don't forget, we still have a game session where you can win fantastic prizes. So don't leave yet. I know today is Saturday. You probably have some O1B to attend to, but this is very important because the lessons you would get here will transform your life forever. So moderating the panel session is Grace. She will be introducing the panelists appropriately. But just a rundown of the panelists. We have we have Miss Amaka Nwaokolo. She is the director and head of Faith Institute. We also have Miss Farida Yahya. She is the vice president, partnerships. She included. And then the last but definitely not the least, we have Mr. Ebenezer Wikina, the founder of Policy Shapers. Praise over to you and have a great session.
Hi, thank you, Rafiat. Good afternoon, everyone. How are we enjoying this session? How are we enjoying? Can I see some fire in the comment section? Because this has been an amazing session so far. We've had presentations from the keynote speaker, Joshua Alade, down to different sessions we've had already, the storytelling, hearing a lot of things and impact stories of volunteers. I think that was really, really spectacular for us to have fixed that in. It is necessary for us to hear and know that people like us, young people like us, are already doing so much towards volunteering. So can we see some fire? Yes, I love what I'm seeing. I love what I'm seeing in the comment section. That means we are all together. So for the panel session, we'll have our first panelist to quickly speak on something. We are going to ask some questions like what Rafiat said, that she is the head of Faith Institute. Her name is Amaka Nwaokolo. So can you just kindly permit me to read briefly her bio before we proceed? Amaka Nwaokolo has about 15 years experience cutting across the business and development sectors in Nigeria. She presently heads the Faith Institute, which is a research, policy, and advocacy arm of Faith Foundation that leads innovative thinking and creates platforms to enable idea exchange and problem-solving strategies to foster sustainable entrepreneurship in Nigeria. At the Faith Institute, she drives the Institute's thought leadership and policy advocacy efforts around entrepreneurship in Nigeria with the aim of achieving policy program design, review, and implementation. Since 2015, when she joined the foundation, she has led the development of over 15 research reports, including the mapping study of Nigeria's entrepreneurship ecosystem, the state of entrepreneurship in Nigeria reports to, and also unlocking prosperity for Nigeria SMEs through tax reforms. And also, lastly, she has also served as a facilitator on the Nigerian Economic Summit, NESG, MSME Community of Practice, where she works with ecosystem stakeholders on key entrepreneurship thematic areas like access to funding, access to market, policy, and regulations. This is super amazing. So if your hands are not too busy, can I see the fire in the comment section as we bring our first panelist, Amaka Nwaokolo, Director and Head, the Faith Institute. Hi, Amaka.
Hello, Praise. Thank you. I was smiling when you stumbled on the acronyms, NMSMEs. It can be a mouthful, I know.
Yes,
well, thank you for the warm introduction. I agree.
So we are super excited to have you here, Amaka. Amaka, I know you've been hearing and you've been following through everything that's been happening, hearing people's impact story. And we know that you have a lot from your work at the Faith Institute. So in your work at the Faith Institute, how do volunteers contribute to the program and the success of your agenda?
Thank you, Praise, and good afternoon to everyone on the call. I have been following the conversations, and in fact, it's been it's been very interesting, very engaging. I think a part of me feels a little out of place because, I feel, okay, am I too old to be here, but just listening to everyone speak, it helped me connect, with my inner youngin, like I call it, and took me back to my own early days of also volunteering. So it's really great to see how the baton, in a way, has been passed on, and to see how passionate people are about volunteering, which essentially means you're not getting any monetary reward, especially in a country like Nigeria, where something has to give, just driving on the road to pass through a certain place, you have to tip someone. So to see people who are very passionate about giving back, it's really inspiring to see. It makes me feel very encouraged about the future of our country, and really just engaging conversations so far. Now, to the work that I do at Faith Foundation, a bit of a background context. Faith Foundation is a 23-year-old nonprofit. And what we do essentially is work to ensure that businesses in Nigeria are able to start, are able to grow, and are able to scale. And we do that by providing entrepreneurship, capacity building, and so entrepreneurship knowledge. We also provide hand-holding services. And then we also do a lot of work around research and policy advocacy. And so within Faith Foundation, we have 3 divisions. You have the Faith School of Entrepreneurship, which is a proper school, right? Why do we have that? We have that because businesses in Nigeria are at different levels, right? When we think about youth entrepreneurship in Nigeria, for example, a lot of the young people run nano and micro businesses. Praise referenced the State of Entrepreneurship report, in the introduction. And that's a flagship report that we put out every year that provides an assessment of the entrepreneurship space. And from that report, almost 45% of businesses in Nigeria are run by entrepreneurs aged 15 to 29. So we have a very strong, formidable youth entrepreneurship ecosystem in Nigeria, right? And so the Faith School of Entrepreneurship is critical because then we're able to design programs for different levels of businesses, whether you're starting, whether you're looking to grow, whether you're looking to scale, right? And so we have various programs, a myriad of programs. If you've never heard of Faith Foundation, you should just check us out. A myriad of programs. Some of them are, and not even some of them, a lot of them, because we have partners, a lot of these programs you can access for free because of the partnerships that we're able to pull in, right? And then following that, you also have hand-holding services, mentoring, guidance. We have resource platforms that you're able to access resources for free. Then we have the Faith Institute division, which is what I head, where we deal with data and deal with research and deal with policy engagement and influencing and engaging with government to ensure that, they implement policies that lead to an enabling business environment for businesses to thrive. Then we have a 3rd division that's called Faith Giving, and that division looks at giving back, at raising the next generation of entrepreneurs who are still in school, by the way. So we provide a lot of scholarships to specific entrepreneurs that we have identified, and support them across their, along the educational journey. Now, with all of this work that we do, a lot of the impact and a lot of the results that people see is largely driven by our volunteer data force. We have over 1,300 volunteers at Faith Foundation that provide business education. So you have executives, C-level executives, for example, who take time from their busy schedule to come teach, to come give back to entrepreneurs who are just starting. Sometimes you have entrepreneurs who have been through some of our early programs back in the day, who are now, well-established entrepreneurs running thriving businesses, who come back to also share, to say, I was once like you, I was once in this position, and here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strategies that I was able to implement to get to where I'm at today. And so with that being said, our volunteer database, our volunteer workforce at Faith Foundation are absolutely It's absolutely critical, right? And so we do not joke with them. We value them a lot. Why? Because they ensure that we're able to run the programs we're able to do at the Faith School. They also ensure that in terms of the resource platforms that we have, for example, msmehub.org, which is a free resource platform that hosts a lot of information on entrepreneurship, all that content is developed by volunteers. At the Faith Institute as well, all the policy programs that we put together also fueled by volunteers. And so in a nutshell, volunteering, I'm not sure I can add to everything that's already been said, but at Faith Foundation, they are really the life, the blood of everything that we do, and very instrumental to the impact that we have made over the past 23 years.
Wow, that's so amazing. That's amazing. Can we just give a round of applause to the volunteers at Faith Institute? Can we give a round of applause? Because there's something Amaka said. She said that the volunteers at Faith Institute are actually the lifeblood of everything that's been happening in the organization, both in Faith Institute, both in Faith Foundation. Can we give a round of applause? So it's really good and key that we mention all this right here, so that youth and young people on the call, we know that you are not just the only one volunteering. There's also a team of people somewhere supporting organizations, just like what is happening at Nigerian Youth SDGs. So moving forward, Amaka, please, can you just share with us a personal story of how volunteering has helped you, probably presently in your workplace or previously when you were still building your career, while you were still building your career journey? Can you just briefly share with us the impact of volunteering or a personal story of volunteering for you?
Thanks, Praise. Just to confirm, am I still audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
Can you hear me? Okay, yes. Great, thank you. Volunteering has been very instrumental, for my career growth. And I can trace this back to when I was in school. I mean, I left school almost 15 years ago now. But one of the things I was very interested in when I was in school was to pull together and develop a press unit. And so it was interesting how I started by just conversing and speaking to people who are interested in doing that. And eventually we're able to pull together a 15-man team. I led that press unit for about 3 years till I graduated, and then I left it standing when I graduated. And then building on that, it was time for NYSC. Again, this happened in 2009. And one of the things that struck me was I wanted to read law, but I didn't read law. I read mass communications, right? But I was very drawn to the legal aid group and the work they were doing, And so based on that, what I also did was I made friends. I had a friend, and then so he had other friends. And so what we did, working together, was to provide free legal aid services to prison inmates at the time who couldn't afford legal services. And it was interesting to me because for something as simple as, then it was like 2,000 naira bill or 3,000 naira bill. People did not have that, and they were just languishing away in prison, So that experience was really mind-shifting for me. But I think in a nutshell, what my volunteering experience did was to help me build leadership, right? Leadership potential and skills. And in terms of leadership, I'm not talking about running a company. That's also part of leadership. But leadership for me is being able to identify a problem, develop a solution to it, and then rally around or convene people with who align with your vision, to accomplish this desired outcome that you have set out to accomplish. And so my experience at school, my experience with legal aid, all of that really helped me to build leadership skills. That led me to developing an affordable housing startup that I wanted to use to address the housing situation in Nigeria, which I did. But you see, all of the experiences I had building up to when I started the affordable housing startup led me to get a fellowship program that took me to the US and took me to Yale and brought me back to Nigeria. Now, if I didn't have all of those experiences, if I didn't have that leadership capacity, which allowed me to be able to just come up with an idea, affordable housing, my goal was to bring together, use innovative building technology to develop houses, that is affordable. And we're able to put together a block of 5-bedroom, one-bedroom apartments in Abuja, simply because I had an idea and simply because I was able to galvanize people together to do that. And that all of these experiences fetched me that fellowship program that took me to Yale, brought me back, led me to Faith Foundation, enabled me to start my policy work around entrepreneurship, which has also led me to this point today. So in terms of volunteering, I think it's to join my voice to the experiences that have already been shared. It really helps you to broaden your horizon. It helps you to build skills, skills that sometimes cannot be taught in school. And it also helps you to build leadership capacity, because at the end of the day, when you're getting into an organization, people are interested in the solutions you're able to bring to the table. They're interested in the strategies you're able to bring to the table. And you can only gain that through practical experience, which volunteering does. So that's been my story in a nutshell. I mean, I could go on and go in depth, but in a nutshell, that's been my story with regards to volunteering and how it has brought me this far.
Wow, that is a lot to have shared in a few minutes. Thank you so much, Amaka. Can we start dropping the learnings, the many learnings you are getting? Because there's something Amaka said right here. She said that people are interested in the solutions you bring to the table. And that is close to what Raniat, right? Raniat, one of the volunteers, shared about building her skills in NGU 30. The same thing with Mubarak, building skills through volunteering. So when you join organizations, they're interested in what you can do for the organization. What are you bringing into the table? What are you bringing? You know how they, there's this thing they say when in conversations that people will ask you, what are you bringing to the table? So volunteering help you to bring together what you will offer when you get to organizations. Thank you so much, Amaka. It was amazing hearing and having you on this special event. Thank you so much. Can we do something in the comment section? Wow, a lot is happening in the comment section. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amaka.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, we'll be moving over to the next panelist. We have two more panelists who will be taking together side by side. Just kindly allow me to introduce them. We are super excited to have amazing people. If you're on this call, I want to encourage you not to even drop off, because we are halfway and we have a lot to share. We just heard what Amaka shared with us, and we have another panelist. We have two more panelists who will be sharing with us briefly. We have Ebenezer Wikina. He's the founder of Policy Shapers. Ebenezer is a civic startup. He's the founder of Policy Shapers, a civic startup that empowers young people with the knowledge, the skill, and tools they need to engage with public policy. He's currently the Reform IELTS campaign, which seeks to end the practice of mandating Anglo-Africans to write English proficiency tests while seeking study or work opportunities abroad. So far, the campaign has mobilized over 80,000 supporters engaged in policy makers across Africa, Europe, and America, and North America, and influenced policy change in 30 universities around the world. Ebenezer is also a Mandela Washington Fellow, a Civic High Fellow, Bridge Fellow, and GIJN Fellow. He's also the winner of the first ever South City Africa MVP Award for Community Development, the Royal Africa Youth Leadership Award, and the NESG Exceptional Leadership Award, to mention a few. Mr. Wikina is an alumnus of the International Institute of Journalism, Abuja, the London School of Journalism, Harvard Kennedy School, and the Stanford Center for Professional Development. Can we do something for Mr. Ebenezer Wikina in the comment section? And we also have Farida Yaha. She's the Vice President, Partnership as Secluded. Are you in the comment section? Because I can't see the fire there. We need to do something for our panelists. They are amazing. Farida Yaha is a 2021 Mandela Washington Fellow and author, startup coach, and social entrepreneur with over 10 years of working experience in the media and development sector. She's a highly skilled and goal-oriented leader with a background in biochemistry and business development with over 10 years of working experience in the media, community, and social development sectors. Farida, as a VP of Partnership as Secluded, which is a female-focused, tech-enabled financial wellness company, and a board member of various private and non-governmental organizations. Farida supports early-stage startups and financial inclusions for women. Farida is the 11th president of the Mandela Washington Fellow Alumni Association of Nigeria, which is a leading network of over 500 young leaders across Nigeria's 36 states, and the FCT, who are alumni of the U.S. State Department Mandela Washington Fellowship across the business, civic, and public management tracks. She's also the founder of the Brief Academy, a learning hub dedicated to develop and support female-owned startups to achieve wealth and sustainability. So we have amazing people right here as our panelists. Hello, Farida. Hello, Ebenezer. Are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Hi,
Hi, Praise. Yes, I am. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Great.
It's so good to have you here. It's so good to have you here. So we'll just move straight ahead to the panel session. So we'll just kick off quickly with Ebenezer. Ebenezer, please, can you just briefly share with us, a lot of individuals don't really know how to start volunteering. We have over 90-something young people on the call, and we know that some of them are just first-time volunteers, or they want to know how they can start off volunteering. So can you share methods young people can take to incorporate volunteering into their personal and career development plans?
Thank you so much, Praise. Hi, everyone. And of course, greetings to our president of the Alumni Association, Farida. Thanks for joining the conversation. Yeah, trust me, I think that volunteering is so accessible that sometimes people feel like it is far away, right? Most of what people do in church, people don't realize that they're actually volunteering. When you serve in various teams and groups, and when people work in school, in various associations, that's already volunteering, right? I think people just are not able to understand that no matter how little the effort you put in is, what counts is the impact you're making, right? Through that effort. And if you're passionate about it, my best advice for people who want to go into volunteering first is to know what you're passionate about. I wouldn't say just go look for any organization and just go and volunteer, because volunteering can be a lot of giving and not so much taking. It's best you do and volunteer in a field or sector where you're already passionate. So, for example, Farida will happily volunteer when, if you tell her to work on projects related to helping women get financial inclusion, work around women's rights, that would come to her naturally because that's what she's passionate about, right? If you tell me to come work in policy space with young people, talk about unemployment, talk about how young people can get into government, I'm sure I can do that free for the rest of my life. I wouldn't even want you to even pay me, right? So I think it's passion. So just first of all, find out what you really love, what makes you tick, what basically do you really want to do. Once you're able to identify that, then thank God there's social media. Look out for the organizations who are doing this. There are quite a number of organizations out there who you can either volunteer digitally or in person. So if there's no organization in your city currently who is working on that particular sector, you can then choose to volunteer digitally. Maybe you can help them with their social media work, whether it's helping them to do designs or what people might not know this, but one way I started volunteering first was in 2013. And one of my very first volunteer opportunities was through the United Nations. So the UN has, I don't know if they still have it now, but they had something called the Online Volunteering Program, so it's onlinevolunteering.org. It's a UN program where you can either sign up to be a translator, or you can help to try what's it called? Type. When you listen to stuff and then type. There's the word for it. I've forgotten the word now. But yeah, you can either type out stuff for them, listen to audio things and type. You can do social media support. They will share posters for all of the international days in this on the online platform. You can copy the posters there and then share on social media to promote the international observances. You can do so many things, right? So because of the technology, you don't really have an excuse to say, okay, I can't be there physically, so I cannot really do anything. Transcribe, yes, thank you, Mohammed. That's what I left my mind. Transcribe, yeah. So you can't say just because you're far away from the place physically, you don't want to. That space and time basically has been collapsed by the internet, right? So even digitally, you can definitely get in there to volunteer. But like I said, first of all, find out we all can be passionate about the same thing, and the SDGs are 17, right? So the work that the NG Youth SDGs are doing is ensuring that we understand what the individual SDGs are and how they connect to our lives. And so when you find out that thing you're passionate about, I think that's always the first step. Once you find that out, you can then go in, look for the organizations that are working there to be able to volunteer in these organizations. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. So first, you need to know what you are passionate about. And also, it's also interesting to know that there are some people that still discover what they are passionate about while volunteering. So the key thing is for you to volunteer, render your services, and you get to learn and grow. Thank you so much, Ebenezer, for asking that. Now over to you, Farida. I love how Ebenezer had to do that salute for you. I think I have to do it, even if I'm not an MWL fellow yet. Okay. So Farida, quickly, can you just briefly just let us know, have there been instances where your volunteer experience influenced your career choice, or maybe you had to open you up to a new opportunity, or you had to pivot to another career sector? Have there been situations like that?
Okay, thank you so much, Praise, and hello again to Evan and everyone. Kudos to Josh for putting this together and his team. This is quite exciting for me. It was a very easy yes when I got the invitation, because this is something that is very, very close to my heart. So to your question, Praise, I think everything in my life has actually been about volunteering, honestly, even ending up to my career path. So I would just sort of like pick up from where Ebenezer stopped, which is, if you love doing something, right? If it's your passion, then you will find purpose in it. You'll find the way to connect your purpose to it, right? And that's one of the key things when it comes to self-leadership. Self-leadership is very important, because when you're able to lead yourself, then you're able to lead others and also to give people support. And I usually say that leadership doesn't have to be from the front. I think we have it a bit skewed. We think that you have to be the leader, you have to be the CEO, everybody has to be addressing you as sir and ma before you are important. The interns and the volunteers in every organization are more or less the heartbeat of that organization. They come in with fresh ideas, they come in with the energy, with the zeal, with the tenacity. They're ready to try things that people who are already far off in their career feel sort of like too big to try, right? And I really feel like that's one of the things that it does for you, is that when you're volunteering, you're leading from the back or leading from the side, as the case might be, right? Examples of how volunteering has led me to job opportunities. I think the first one I want to start with is the fellowship itself, the Mandela Washington Fellowship, right? I remember when I applied, so I had applied twice before, and at that time, it was just the beginning of my career. I mean, I've been volunteering since I was in secondary school, right? Doing outreaches and community support. But I was not able to really show a direction, right? So there's no trajectory. You're not able to say, okay, this person is coming from point A to point B. I was jumping everywhere. And so when I applied the first two times, it was no surprise that I was rejected, because of course, this is a very competitive fellowship, right? Literally, they say the 1% of the 1% get it. But the third time when I finally applied and I got in, I remember that when I wrote the application, so in total, you're supposed to write 4 or 5 essays for the fellowship. And after writing it, I reached out to peers, people who were already fellows before me, to just give me like reviews and feedback. And I remember how minimal the feedback was, but the feedback also helped me to tell a better story. But I would tell you that the better part of what I shared, right, was more or less what I've been doing for the last 10 years, all my volunteer work. There's a part where it asks you to share what you would do when you go to a place to provide support and you get pushback, right? And the entire story I shared there was a volunteer story of a project we had to do in a community in Adamawa State, right? It was my first time going to that community. There was a huge disparity when it comes to, when it comes to education, right? And of course, you had to learn how to speak in a way where people don't feel like you're being condescending, right? Especially if you want to do sustainable development, you have to learn that it has to be community driven, right? So the entire essay I wrote was actually a volunteer project, right? Another essay that was very crucial was, what do you see? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? And the entire story I told, linking back to my past, to my present, and my future, was highlights of my volunteer work, right? And of course, like I said, this made it easy for me, I believe, to be able to scale to become a fellow, now, right? And now eventually become the president. I remember running for president. It wasn't something that I planned upon, but by the time I started talking to people, everybody is like, we've seen your work. We've seen you, volunteering with people. We've seen you collaborating with fellows, even across African countries. We know that you are the right person for the job at this time, right? So people also speak to your capacity. Right. The second example I think I would give is my role as the VP of Partnerships in Chicluded. So I've sort of become more or less like a cross-sector professional. So first of all, I had my own business. Then I closed my business to start advising people to how to run their own business as a startup coach in the business school. And then I left the business school to now join financial inclusion, right? So I've moved almost 3 sectors, and I've been able to do that largely because of the skills, expertise that I've built through volunteering. When I put in, my application for this role as a VP of Partnerships at Chicluded, the first ever Northerner to do that, the first, woman to do that. There was a lot of controversy. They're like, oh, wow, who is this person? So bold. Chicluded is in Lagos. I'm based in Abuja and mostly in the north. And they're like, who is this person that is, vying for this position? But I remember that when I had my interview, the lady said, a lot of things that really struck me, which was the fact that by the time they did their work, right, their background check with my digital footprint and everything else, it was easy for them to see that I fit that role perfectly, because I've already been doing work for women for the last, 6, 7, 8 years across different states. I've done it, paid, free, in different roles, right? So it was an easy, again, there were other people who wanted that role, but then I was able to get that role and be able to make the impact that I'm making currently, right? Based on the fact that I've been able to build, some footprint, right? Again, with volunteering and everything you do, but especially with volunteering, storytelling is very important. I can't come on your page and I'm seeing things about, weddings and this, and nothing wrong with having a social life, but I'm saying that if I'm coming to your page to be able to pick you for something, I need to be able to see that this is something that you're already putting in time for, right? So again, for me, these are the 2 examples I would give. There are many, many others, but like I said, it's also because my volunteering work intersects with my passion and my career. So it's quite easy to be able to do it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Farida. I love the fact that you had to tie in what Wikina said to your own contributions on volunteering and how volunteering has opened up opportunities for you. First is your passion. And if you're in the comment section, I believe that you're already putting this down. First is your passion. Secondly is for you to make sure that you take your time and you outline your impact stories. Make sure that you have footprint that can actually be traceable footprint, and also maximizing storytelling on social media to tell your story. This is super, super exciting. So quickly, we'll also be going to the last question for Ebenezer. Ebenezer, please, can you share with us, are there specific skills? Maybe you can take it as number 1, number 2, just specific skills or competence you have gained through volunteering that have been able to influence your career.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thank you so much, Praise. I think that's a very important question. I think that there of course, so many skills that I've learned, but I think, I don't know if it was Amaka that mentioned this earlier, or it was even you, Praise, and you're sharing your experience. But I think someone spoke about writing as a skill that they had learned. Oh no, it was the first speaker, it was the first male speaker who spoke about writing and how they worked as a compare or something like that, a repertoire for some events. I think writing is a very important skill, right? Even as we get into the age where there's AI and all of these sort of things, people are now even building apps that would help you know when it's a ChatGPT written essay, right? So it means that even in the age of ChatGPT, creative writing and people who can still write, will still be important, right? And so I think that's just being part of spaces where, you can tell yourself, for events you attend as a volunteer, you can tell them, what if I joined the team that's writing the event reports, right? For me, it was in church, and, I was church secretary at the time, one of the youngest in our church's history, and I'll be writing meeting minutes, meeting minutes, and make so many mistakes, and there will be corrections here and there, such that, I was able to build my writing skills. so much that even when I then started to write as a journalist and worked more, out there, the mistakes that I could have made out there, I didn't make them anymore because I made them earlier during my volunteer role. There was low pressure, and that's the thing with volunteering. There's low pressure. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. You're doing it for free. So they will be happy. They will not, don't put you under so much pressure. And nobody's going to die if you make a mistake, right? I mean, you're not like a medical doctor, right? So it's a very low pressure environment where you can easily just try something out and learn on the job easily. So I think writing skill is one of them. Speaking is also another skill that I think is very important, right? Not everyone has, not everyone feels comfortable being able to address large audiences or large crowds. But I think that before you can even speak to 400 people, maybe first you're speaking to 4 people in an organization, or 5 people, or 10 people. Everyone who's now, I mean, if you want to be like Farida, who's speaking to thousands of people and thousands of leaders, right? Before you get there, I'm sure she must have told you that she's had experiences where she's also spoken to smaller groups and made smaller mistakes in those smaller spaces where she's learned and then grown from there. So speaking, no matter the sector you work in or the career you're in, at some point in your life, you'd have to speak to people. Right? You have to address people. You'd have to, at some point, lead them somewhere. So I think if you're able to build public speaking skills through volunteering, I've personally built a lot of public speaking skills through volunteering that have been very useful to me. And just, watching other people as well, see what they do and doing what they do. Yeah. We've also overflowed this third point on networking skills, but I think it's very important. Being able to just meet, there's someone can live in your estate with you, right? In the same estate. And you might not be able to have access to the person, but you guys might actually go to the same events where you're volunteering and you have unfiltered access to the person at anyhow and any way you want to talk to the person, right? It's only volunteering that's put me in so many places where, like, for example, in 2015, when I joined the World Economic Forum Global Shippers, right? It's also a volunteer space. We're not paid to be global shippers. Everyone is working towards building their hubs in their respective cities, etc. And being part of that community, just as someone shared earlier, actually also gave me my first international travel experience, actually. This was in 2015. Yeah. And then at the World Economic Forum in 2015, we were in the same space where you had all of the people, Amina Mohammed and NOI, that's Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and all of the people who, I'm sure, they're also Nigerians like me, but from Nigeria, I definitely wouldn't be able to have access to those people. But from being in a job, volunteering for that community and being in that particular space, I was then able to reach these people. So I think it gives you access to people and resources that you can then use to leverage and build your own careers as well. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer, for sharing that. First, you said writing, you talked about speaking, you talked about networking. These are very, very key skills you need to have in order for you to maximize volunteering. Okay, just in 1 minute, Farida, can you just briefly share with us how do you balance your volunteering commitment with your career responsibilities? And what strategies have you found most effective? Just in 1 minute so that we can round up.
Wow, all of that in 1 minute.
Okay, you can just give us a bit of it and we can put the rest on social media.
So for the balancing, I think I touched a bit on it when I spoke earlier, right? Which is the fact that everything I do is sort of connected one way or the other. In fact, there are times when I go to an event and, my 2 roles intersect, right? Currently being the president of, the MWF Alumni Association and also being the VP at. So the 2 roles sort of intersect, which is quite interesting. Again, because the passion is the same with the work that I'm doing. The second question, sorry, so strategies for what? I don't think I heard the last part.
Strategies that you have that be most effective for you in trying to balance your career responsibilities and also your volunteering commitments.
Okay, strategies. I think the first thing is always going back to my why, right? For me, this is very, very important. And I would recommend the people that are on this call to read Start With Why by Simon Sinek. That book literally changed my life and the way I look at the work that I do. It was no more, I'm doing work just to be paid, right? Or to be seen. It was actually, I am contributing to humanity and this is how I want to be remembered. It became legacy work for me. So Start With Why is something that I always go back to. So whenever I'm about to take on a role or volunteer for something, I go back to my intention and my why. Why exactly am I doing this? Am I doing this because it connects to my purpose and my passion? Or am I just doing it, to be seen? And, there's FOMO, right? We're in a time where everybody's feeling left out. I'll give an example with, the summit currently happening in Dubai. Of course, climate change is everybody's business, but a lot of us are not climate change experts. So it would not make sense for me, for example, who is about financial inclusion and supporting women and startups, to find myself as a delegate for this particular conference. So just an example. But yes, always examine your why. Why exactly are you doing what you're doing, and how does it connect to your passion? I think that's the first thing. The second thing is, please do not make yourself an island. I really believe that the hallmark of being a true leader is being able to raise more leaders. We're in a country where you have over 200 million people. The unemployment rate is high. Social inequalities are high. Poverty rates are high. You name it, right? For me, coming from the north, there's out of school, there's so many issues. There's insecurity. You cannot afford to be the only one always at the center, right? You need to be able to support other people. You need to be able to help other people see the light in themselves, right? So whenever I'm doing anything, one of my strategies is, how can I spotlight someone else? How can I position someone else to shine in this particular thing that I'm doing, right? An interesting short story. Yesterday, someone mentioned to me that even though I've been president for 2 months, only other ESCOs have been seen. And I laughed and I said, it's very deliberate, because those people need to take up those roles, right?
Wow.
So that's a strategy that I use very clearly. I surround myself with people. I have no problem being the least intelligent person in the room. I want other people to be able to contribute. Diversity is very, very important to me. And I think the final thing I would say, because I'm sure my 1 minute is up.
It's over.
The final thing I would say is, please try and make sure that you have balance in your life, right? Having careers is very important, but you need to be able to have a wholesome life, your social life, your relationships, your friendships, your friends, your extended family. Find a way to be able to get their support and get them to see your vision, and you also support their vision. For me, that has been very important. I volunteer in a lot of organizations. I take on some roles now that require me to do long nights and early mornings, right? Everybody that is around me knows about what I'm doing. And I don't just do it to include them. I do it so that they can be able to support me. When we're having our campaign, for example, for the association, I wasn't sleeping. I didn't sleep for like 5 days, because we had fellows who were in other countries that are not Nigeria that I had to be speaking with. My son knew about this. He was the one asking me, has campaign finished? How many people have you called today? For me, this is very important, because as leaders, we need to be able to have balance. Depression is real. People are feeling very alone. You're looking at them on a pedestal, but they're alone. So it's very, very important that they have balanced lives. So I think these 3 things for me have been crucial when it comes to balance.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we have heard a lot. I personally was even here writing down, but I had to just focus on everything because this is a lot. Thank you so much, Ebenezer. Thank you so much, Farida, for sharing with us. We are super glad to have you on this call. You have shared a lot in few minutes. I want to sincerely appreciate you. If you're in the comment section, I think you need to start dropping all you've been learning, and you need to give it up for our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. It was so great having you on the call. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rafiat, over to you.
All right, thank you so much for a truly insightful panel session. I personally learned a lot, and I believe that everyone listening or watching right now has also learned 1 or 2 things. I think there's so much to unpack, and I would recommend that you watch the session again. In case you did not know, we're also streaming live on YouTube. So it means that you have access to rewatch these on YouTube. So please go back and watch these over again, because these are truly accomplished persons who have shared incredible stories, tips and strategies for you to harness volunteering for greater opportunities. So again, thank you to our distinguished panelists, to Ms. Amaka Nwaokolo, Ms. Farida Yahya, and Mr. Ebenezer Wikina. And of course, to the brilliant moderator, Praise, thank you so much for doing an excellent job. I know that we are behind schedule. We apologize for that, but I believe that you would not have this session otherwise because it's been value upon value upon value. So there's still much that we have in stock for you. So please do not leave. Right about now, I'm going to be inviting Glory Obegbo from our labs for a very short presentation. So she's going to be telling us about our lab and how you will be able to win the prize for the game session shortly. Over to you. Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much. I'm very glad I'm here, and I want to say a big thank you to the Nigerian SDGs for Youth, and I want us to just say thank you because this is an amazing session. So if you are hearing me right now, I wanted to just say thank you. I know that like it's not over yet, but like it's been an amazing session so far, and I'm so grateful. Like I'm part of it. All right. Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen and just introduce you to R Labs. My name is Glory once again, and I work with R Labs Nigeria. R Labs stands for Reconstructed Living Labs. What we do is we reconstruct lives through hope, innovation, and technology. So as part of our process of reconstructing life through technology, I'm going to share 2 platforms that young people have access to improve themselves. So I'm going to start from Yoma. Yoma is a youth market agency. That's the Yoma Youth Market Agency. It was sorry. It was founded by R Labs in connection with UNICEF, GIZ, Goodwill, Umosdi. You can see below here all the partners that came together to make this possible. So what do you see on the Youth Market Agency? When you go to the site, I believe the site will be shared on the group chat. You can access a lot of opportunities and you can access a lot of courses. So on this Yoma website, when you go on, you will see courses that are actually free for young people to upskill themselves and be better at what they do. So you can you can see skills ranging from public speaking to social impact and web development, product design, whatever course you think that you need to harness or whatever skill you need to harness, whatever course you need to get certified in, you can find them on Yoma because Yoma aggregates opportunities. So when somebody is doing the course for free, they come to Yoma and they put it out there for youths, especially youths in Nigeria, to have access to. So this is one of the opportunities we provide as R Labs Nigeria. Also on Yoma, you can actually build a digital CV. All right, so whatever courses you've done over the years can accumulate, and then you have a CV that is ready that you can use to apply for jobs or whatsoever you want to use it for. So the other one I'm going to talk about is Zato. This has more connection to volunteering than Yoma does. So this is Zato, it's spelled ZLTO. It's a South African word that means gold. All right, Zato was created to reward positive behavior, to reward good deeds. So I would say that like volunteers reward is actually gold. When you look at everything that has been said so far, what you stand to gain as a volunteer, you realize that it's so much more than just money. It's something that is like gold, and that is what this concept is about. So for us at R Labs and for Zato, there's this digital platform where you can volunteer. So when you come on Zato, you can see a lot of opportunities to volunteer with people in Nigeria or sometimes outside Nigeria, depending on what the task is. And when you do that, you earn a reward. So the reward you earn is what we call the Zlato. It's like a coin or points that you add up. So when you've added up those points to a certain level, then you can use it to buy vouchers. Vouchers like Sure Gives vouchers or Jumia vouchers, for example. So when you have those vouchers, you can use to purchase anything you want. So that is the idea of Zlato. But I don't want to talk too much. I want to just show a video to show how the Zlato came to be and the brain behind it. Sorry, I have to stop sharing my screen momentarily and reshare so that you can hear the sound when I share. All right, here we go.
Growing up on the Cape Flats, youth unemployment is a huge problem. Many people feel like they have no choice and get stuck in the belief that there is no alternative. And for a long time, that's what I thought. Sometimes you just need a new perspective to shape the way you think. I have the privilege of being here today, okay, with you guys. And I always believe that we actually a very privileged community. Us being from the Cape Flats, we've got the privilege of suffering. And the reason I'm saying we got the privilege of suffering is because when we suffer, we learn to overcome. So they literally tell us, you know, that youth unemployment over 50% and youth are lazy, they don't want to work. And all of you traveled from your homes to just be here today because you want to work. And that's the reason that we introduced Zlato. So a young person can go out and volunteer, which many of you have in your community. And because you guys are earning Zlato, you can now buy things that you need. Since Zlato is a web app, it removes many barriers for our users, making it easy to access on entry-level smartphones.
Hello. How are you doing today? You good? Thanks, and you? I'm good.
When I got pregnant, I had to leave my old job. I couldn't find work and I didn't know what to do.
Hello, Frida. Hello, baby.
Zlato helped me find something new that's much better fit for me. With the points I earn, I can now provide for my family while building a career for myself.
I was brought up with the belief that we should always serve others. As a youth leader and deacon at my church, I'm all about building a better community for my sister, so she never has to settle for less. The web is the ideal solution, as Zlato can be accessed anywhere on any device, and it's amazing to see it help people in many different ways.
I'm very passionate about volunteering as a tutor and giving back to my community. Your eye effective and so forth. Right now, there is a lack of resources with the kids having to share calculators and textbooks.
So now let's start this side and go that side.
I've been able to buy materials for the young people using the Zlato I've earned to help them improve in their studies.
Once you take responsibility for your life, that's when things start to change. At Zlato, we're going to invest not just in the lives of young people, but in the beliefs of young people. And we're going to trust them to solve the problem that they want to solve. It's important for us to make sure that people don't lose their dignity because of their circumstance. That they understand that if they put in effort, the effort will be rewarded.
All right, that is all about that. But I just want to touch on a few points about volunteering. I know a lot of people complain about, okay, I'm done with school, I don't have a job, and they're sitting at home. I mean, the job will not meet you at home, and that's where volunteering comes in. And the more you volunteer, like has been said before, I don't want to repeat what has been said before, the more you gain opportunities to do things. And I know we are not lazy Nigerian youths at all. I know we are willing to put in the work, and that is why Zlato exists in Nigeria. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much, the Nigerian SDGs. If you have any questions, I think I can answer any of them.
Thank you so much. And really, I just want to say well done to the team. And of course, Zlato, I'm hearing Zlato for the first time. but it appears to me like a platform that I really would love to associate with because it's empowering young people, it's helping them to volunteer, and it's also inspiring them to take action, not just for their individual goals, but for the betterment of the entire world as a whole. So thank you so much and well done. Again, if people have questions, they would put it in the chat box. So you can just take a look there. If you can respond via chat, that would be great because we're running behind schedule. Otherwise, if we still have time, we'll be happy to call you aboard to provide answers to your question. So again, thank you so much. And so now we will move on to the game session. So who is ready to win a prize? If you're ready, I need you to drop, like Praise would say, some fire in the chat box. So let me see your favorite emojis. If you're excited about the game session, let me see your favorite emojis. Fantastic. If I'm not seeing your emojis, it means you would not win. And don't forget, if you're yet to follow the different social media platforms, you already shared the link. I can share again. Follow the Youth on Board in Nigeria. Follow Nigeria Youth SDGs across their social media platforms. If you win and you're not following these accounts, we're going to take it back from you. And another thing to point out is that one person is not eligible to win twice because we want these to go round. So one person is not eligible to win twice. If you win once, that's enough. Remember, as volunteers, we should be our brother's keepers, right? So great. I see we're ready. So we're going to be having 10 winners in total. And of course, the first person to get the answer correctly wins the prize. And like I said earlier, one person is not eligible to win twice. Another thing is winners would get 300 plateaus. Gloria already, showed you the platform and how it works. But if you win and you're still having a bit of challenge navigating the platform, she's available to put you through. So for the game session, we're going to be using a link. It's very easy. The link will be dropped in the chat box. So please click on the link. It is for transparency. Click on the link, just put your name, your details, and that's all. So you answer the question as fast as you can. We are ready, I believe. So Praise or Boluwat, if I could, either of you please drop the link in the chat. Fantastic. We have the link there. So you're going to click on the link, like I said earlier, impute your details. I think it's just your name and maybe your email address. Just put it there and answer the questions correctly. So the first question for today is, what is the theme for this year's International Volunteers Day? What is the theme for this year's International Volunteers Day?
Hi, Rafiat.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is Anike. Just a quick one. So we're having like a bit of a technical issue. So Boluwatife, please, can you share your screen because it's supposed to go live and not sure what's happening.
Okay.
Can you show this? I've shared a link with you, Boluwatife. Can you share your screen, please? Is that working? Because that'll be the best.
Okay, just a minute, please.
Yeah, it's supposed to show the Slido and the so I
So
can
very
also do
sorry
that from my
for the delay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can do that from my hand. Sorry to quote you. So everyone please go to slido.com and enter this code 107510. If you've done that, just give us a heads up. Yeah, slido.com and enter the code you're seeing on the screen right now. Stop sharing briefly and I will share back. Okay, so we have some few people already joining. So we have Sharon, we have Olayinka, Aminike. So go to slido.com if you want to participate. We are giving like few seconds more and enter the code 107510. So we have 20 people already joined. So we have 23 people already joined. Do we have more people? 24 people. I think once we have 30 Rafiat, we can just start. Then it's gonna be displayed on the screen. But Oluwatife, can you confirm if you can still share your screen so that I can move from back to back? If you can see this right live on your laptop and so you can share. But we have two more so that we can start. Once we get to 30 people, we are starting. All right, so we're starting. So we've got 30 people. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I believe we're in a good place now. Technology can sometimes be funny. So the first question again, this seems like a bonus.
So Rafiat, you're muted.
Hi, Rafiat.
Yeah, sorry. So Bolu, do we have a winner?
Yeah, it's ongoing. People are already answering their questions.
Okay. Please let me know as soon as we have a winner. Can we move to the next question? Great. So our winner is Ayomide Olaya. All right. So the next question, in case you would like it to be read out, in what year did the United Nations designate December 5th as International Volunteers Day for Economic and Social Development? Great. We have a winner as well, right? Okay. Adetunji. That's noted as well. So please can we move to the next question? So which famous scientist and author once said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others? Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, Desmond Tutu. So do we have a winner already? I think it's a bit slow. We really need to move fast. There's no time.
Yeah, that Moses Zeta.
Sorry, say that again.
Moses Zeta.
Oh, fantastic. So please move to the next question. I hope the team is taking note of the winners. So the next question, please. What term is commonly used to describe individuals who contribute their time and skills without monetary compensation? Easy peasy. Great. Who's a winner? Moses. Okay, great. Next question, please. So volunteering is only about giving. Individuals do not gain any monetary benefit from it. Okay, good. Next question, please. So what is the term for a volunteer who works remotely or online, contributing their skills and time virtually? Thank you. Next question. Moses, I think you won more than one. Okay, so next question. So from the presentation earlier today, when was the European Union Youth Honor Board in Nigeria inaugurated? Okay, so next question, please. Moses is taking honor prize. All right, so what is one of the projects made by NGU's SDGs during the opening remarks presentation? We have a winner, right? Super. Moses again. Okay, so the next question is who shared his volunteering experience during the storytelling session? Or rather, who shared their volunteering experience? Okay, so the final question, who is the present Secretary General of the United Nations? All right, we have now come to the end of the game session. Congratulations to all the winners, and we just want to say thank you to everyone who participated. The team will reach out to the winners on how they can redeem their prizes on Slato. So thank you and well done. We are gradually coming to the end of today's event, and it's been an amazing and insightful session so far. Like I said, personally, I have learned really great things from all the speakers today, and I believe it's been of immense value to you too as well. At this point, I would like to call on Adenike Bamigbade for the closing remarks.
So, hi everyone. Thank you to everyone for staying to the end. Well, majorly, I'm going to start by actually giving kudos and recognizing all our panelists, all our speakers, our fantastic moderator. It's been a beautiful time for like almost like more than 1.5 hours now. Spending your Saturday morning and towards afternoon with us today, and talking critically about your experience in volunteering and how it has shaped your life positively. Thank you so much for honoring our invitations and for doing this with us. And to our amazing participants, you're supposed to be doing something else today, maybe be at an Owambe or just having a great time with your loved ones. But you've decided to join us today to learn together, to reflect on how we can all change the world together, because volunteering is not, you can give your time freely to volunteer for things that do not positively influence you and influence the world that you live in. So I really want to say thank you, and I want you to really appreciate yourself. There was a lot of things that have been shared, but for you to stay to the end, and we still have quite a lot of people who stay to the end today. You've done a really good one and a really good job, and I want you to appreciate yourself for it. So in less than like 1 second, what I just want to say is, after the conversation today, what next for you? I am an example of the impact of volunteering. Like I understand what volunteering means, and I've seen it really help me and build my expertise over the years. But even right here, I'm thankful for where I am, but I'm not stopping because of the future I want to see. I'm still actively volunteering in places where aligns with my passion and my interest, and also in places where I know that it will take me to the to my future plan. And together, we know that the Sustainable Development Goals have an ambitious goal of transforming the world positively by 2030. And we're just in 2023, we have 7 years ahead. So there's really quite a lot of things to do. So if we want to see those positive transformation by 2030, we all need everyone on this call and every young people to join in it, because the Sustainable Development Goals being achieved is not for the old generation, it's for us young people, because we are the ones that will be in this world. I mean, that will be on this earth and on this planet, even after so many years ago, so many years on. So if we want a good world in the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, where at our old age we will not be on will not be pressured, and we will not be experiencing the deteriorating effects of climate change, for instance, we all need to take action. So please, let's put to use what we've heard today. And yeah, and I'm sure that your future, you thank you for that. So thank you once again, and to our amazing team, Oluwatife, praise. You guys are just phenomenal. Thank you for taking the extra time today to work on this program and ensuring that it's successful. And to everyone in the back end, thank you so much for the effort and the time. So I wish you all a great weekend. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and it's weekend. Please try to rest. While we're changing the world, let's have a bit of time to rest. And yeah, wish you all the best. Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adenike, for wishing all of us the best. Wish you the best too. Thank you. So also to mention that we have 2 volunteers. We had a video campaign where we asked people to share, their volunteering experience or them reimagining the world using the hashtag If Everyone Did. And we have 2 winners from that video campaign. We have Oluwa Tomikemi and Tolulokwe Omoyeni. Please note that you will be rewarded with Lato. Again, the team will reach out to you privately on how you can redeem your prizes on Slato. And for all the winners during the game session, the team will also reach out to you on how you can redeem your prizes on Slato. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Do not forget to share your learning, about the session on social media. Please tag NG Youth SDGs, tag EUYSD. EUYSD is the European Union Sounding Board in Nigeria. Also tag our labs Nigeria. Let us know if this was a very good use of your time. And if you have questions, please you can drop the questions in the chat box. Even though we apologize for not being able to take the questions now, we will try as much as possible to take the questions, provide answers to your questions via our various social media posts. It's been a great honor and delight serving as the host for this fantastic and spectacular event. And I hope to do more with all of you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and weekend. Once again, my name is Rafiat Atonda. You can follow me on social media on Instagram at Rafiat_Atonda, or Twitter, Rafiat Atonda, LinkedIn, Atonda Rafiat Mujisala, as well as Facebook. Don't stop being awesome. And like I've been saying every time, volunteer works, volunteer matters. Put in your best, contribute your resources to make the world a better place for everyone. And indeed, if everyone did, imagine how the world would be, not just for you and your loved ones, but the entirety of people living in different parts of the continent. So, bye-bye and thank you.